What's up, guys? Thank you for joining us. It is Thursday, and you know what that means is it's time for the FOMO show. So thanks for joining us tonight. We are talking about what is wrong, what's happening with DC and Warner Brothers. Like, what is happening? We've also got some screw that part. We're just going to talk about what's going on and what is happening right now in the world of DC and Warner Brothers. So don't miss out. This is the FOMO show. All right, guys. So I am Dylan.
I am Quinn. Like...
Checking who I'm with today. So yeah, thanks for watching. I cannot get these intros right. I don't know what the deal is. I guess so many other things going on. But anyways, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, wherever, thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you know when we drop new videos, when we go live, and all that good stuff, especially if we're going live 30 minutes late. So, yeah, that's how it be on live stream sometimes. But also, thank you for your support if you do so. Dang it, still frozen on.
It's like...
That's just a joke. You can actually still support us if you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate that. That will help us possibly start on time because we're doing everything on our lonesome here. Anyway, so also check out that website at www.broken.pictures.new.com. All right, so just finally double check. We got so many irons in the fire, everything going on. It's like, okay, yes, we do have sound at this point in the thing. Yes. So let's jump right in.
So we're here.
We have landed.
That's the sound my legs make when I walk after I land. I don't know.
On what type of surface? Like,
my legs are robot legs now.
oh, okay. I was like, something squishy? It's like a cheesy mood? Anyways.
Cheesy mood.
So, you want to do, we're talking about like current events, but we could get into, because of the way things play out,
yes,
inevitably we talk about some spoilery things. So,
yes. So, okay, let me check the Rolodex here. Oh, I haven't done this one in a while.
I was waiting. I don't know if they can hear your wonderful sound effects either. Hopefully.
I have to clear my throat because this is going to hurt and I'm probably going to choke because I haven't done this in like 2 months.
That's what she said. Sorry.
1, 2, buckle my... There it is. Okay. This is your last chance to leave the FOMO show because this is your spoiler alert. We'll wait for the sound to finish, but in this episode of the FOMO show, we'll be talking about, various things that could be happening, the trailers of things, other things that involve comics. So if you haven't watched, read, or anything involving those, pause this, go do all of that, and then come back. Unless you want us to spoil you. You have been warned.
We'll be getting in deep in the DCU.
The FOMO show is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
That was the one I was trying to hit for your Joker impression. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's not trying to laugh.
Well.
Anyways.
There's a cheer one?
A cheer one? Yeah, that's the... Remember we used to do that, like when we'd come in and like, hi, I'm Dylan. But I couldn't like hit it all at the same time. And
back when you had the top hat, I remember.
Right. What universe are we in again?
It would be very funny if you're a Dylan from one universe and I'm a Quinn from another, but we had similar memories, just one glaring difference.
Mandela.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah. So I mean, if you are at all involved in any faction of nerddom, you are fully aware what is going on with the DC universe on film and video right now.
Yeah. Live action period feels like.
Yeah. So just to kind of catch everybody up, what's going on? So, all right. So Warner Brothers is a big umbrella company, right? They own a lot of things. They own Discovery Channel. They own DC Comics and a whole bunch of other stuff.
AT&T? Who owns AT&T?
I think they were like in. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, a whole bunch of other stuff that it doesn't matter right at the moment because I can't remember. But excuse me.
Good.
I have a hell of a burp and burp. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good.
It's live, folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the CEO of the Discovery Channel, they got so efficient at what they did, and with the Discovery Plus app and their channel and all their stuff, that they got so big that they purchased Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
They bought their parent company. That's like if Marvel bought Disney, y'all. Like, it's a big deal. Huge.
That could happen.
They could.
That could happen.
But I'm just saying, like, that's massive.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, especially coming like Discovery. Like, I mean, Marvel, you would think, okay, yeah, Marvel's huge. But DC didn't buy Warner Brothers.
No.
Discovery bought Warner Brothers.
Yep.
And so David Zaslav, who was the CEO of Discovery, became the CEO of Warner Brothers. And now it is Warner Brothers Discovery. Officially.
Wow.
Excuse me.
What a Game of Thrones sounding story this is.
Yeah, I mean, they merged houses. So, one of the first things on the docket was that he was not going to, without calling Netflix out, he called Netflix out and said, "Hey, one of the things we're not going to do is just throw money at projects and throw projects to the wall and see what sticks."
Yep.
Because I mean, Netflix is like for a while. If you're a filmmaker, like you go to Netflix, they'll make your shit. Like
Yeah,
that, they'll make anything, and they're kind of coming under the, under fire for making so many good shows, giving it a season or two, and then just canning it, and people are invested. Yeah, exactly. So pissing a lot of fans off, because they throw money out all over the place. By the way, Disney Plus just surpassed them in followers. Yeah. And
Disney
subscribers.
Plus. Oh.
Disney Plus just surpassed Netflix in subscribers.
But they also did the thing where my sound was on. I'm sorry. Netflix the end of this last quarter, they reported a loss of 1 million subscribers as well. So
Because of stuff like that.
Yeah. They're not helping themselves. They're only like, oh, there's a bullet in my foot. Let me pull it out and put it in my other foot. They are taking they're not taking the blockbuster route, but they are, as in like they won't change things to help themselves. They
have to. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
They think, okay, well, if we just have enough big projects, people will come. An extent.
Those projects will end at some point. You can only tell something coming from the upside down so many times.
I'm saying Stranger Things can only carry you so far. So that's one of the things he said as far as like their strategy meeting. One of the first meetings was, hey, we are not going to just make all kinds of stuff. We are going to be conservative. We're going to use what works, and we are going to put money where it works and what we know works, and invest in what we have.
Yep.
And that strategy is how he was able to grow Discovery to the point to purchase Warner Brothers. So dude knows what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. However, one of the first things he went after was DC Comics, because it I mean, if the DCEU compared to Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a huge flop. Huge flop. I mean, no matter if you like the movies or not, that's irrelevant as far as like comparatively
of what it's supposed,
what
the
should
intention.
have. Yeah, exactly. It has not done well. If you look at the cartoon universe, spectacular, perfection. I mean, there's a lot of good shows on CW. They canceled a bunch of those.
The CW is also getting. Did they sell CW or what's happening?
So yeah, the C. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the CW, but it is being like a lot of their, at least the DC shows, are being grafted into HBO Max.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's another thing that Warner Brothers owns is HBO and Cinemax.
And if you also didn't know that short thing.
Yeah, HBO Max.
Yeah, they did not realize that's what that was. I thought they were, we've said this before, HBO Max, but it's HBO and Cinemax. But yes, if you
to the max.
To the max. If you ever watched any of the DC shows that were on the CW for a hot minute there, a hot, strong, long minute, they were doing fantastic. You had Arrow then introduced Flash then introduced both the shows, then introduced the Legends of Tomorrow, introduced several different characters, had Vandal Savage show up in the first season. There was a lot of like really good things. They had a lot of good crossovers. Their biggest crossover being...
I mean, going all the way back to Smallville,
yeah,
like DC has been ruling the TV for a while.
But then after Crisis on Infinite Earths, it seems like everything started to come unravel. Ruby Rose, it started with Ruby Rose leaving, then other stars left Legends of Tomorrow, then they started doing not good things.
It's almost like the film stuff started bleeding over into it because the whole Ray Fisher thing too kind of coincided with the Ruby Rose thing.
Yep. And everything started to like end. It seemed like after Arrow left, because the spin-off show that was originally supposed to happen after Arrow, the Green Arrow and the Birds of Prey, got canned. Yeah, and it just feel like it's been limping along ever since. Supergirl got canceled. Forgot Supergirl appeared as well.
It was another strong show.
Black Lightning got canceled after 4 seasons.
Strong show.
So it's. I think the breadcrumbs have been there for some of it, but then once Discovery fully bought Warner Brothers, it was like, let's go ahead and throw this hammer in there.
Yeah, which is a recent thing. Like within the past 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Discovery finally took over. David Zaslav. I mean, I can understand his point of view. It's like, okay, DC, huge potential, huge moneymaker being squandered because, I mean, we have said from day one of the DCEU that Warner Brothers was trying to put the cart before the horse, and that's one of the reasons that it did not succeed like it should have, because some people try to pit Marvel against DC, but if you're a real comic fan, like, you love both of them and you want to see both of them do well. Marvel will do better with the competition of DC, and I mean, DC wouldn't have even tried a cinematic universe without the competition of Marvel. So I mean, a cinematic movie universe.
Well,
I mean, they kind of made that a thing.
They did make it a thing, but I feel like
they did that on TV for a while.
They did it on TV. They just didn't have the ambition. There was no one over there at that time that had the ambition of like, let's try this on the movie screen. Because Smallville, before it ended, even before he like got the full suit, like they had a whole Justice League, and I was like, what is this? Yeah. So I mean,
everything was kind of wrapped up in tent poles and sequels and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it was folks weren't talking to each other then because it wasn't something that, I guess, in that era of movie making was just like a thing of like folks, okay, I'm gonna take this movie and do this to it, and then I'm gonna hand it off to this guy.
I mean, it was a matter of time if they were making a Justice League movie. I can't in good conscience say that they would have gone ahead and pulled the trigger on a Justice League movie without the success of Avengers.
Yeah. Well, a long time ago.
Because how many times can you recycle Batman and Superman?
I think that's where it was gonna. So, do you remember back in 2008? I remember this. I was in the 8th grade.
Right.
There was supposed to be a when Christian Bale's Batman was supposed to meet Henry Cavill's Superman. Like there was a Batman versus Superman that was announced way back then.
Yeah, and Christian Bale had the option of being the new or the continued Batman, building off of that.
Yeah.
The success. Gotcha.
But then that didn't in the wind. And I'm like, all right, this is
Christian Bale's another one of those actors that was like, I'm gonna play this character until the day I die. I love this character, and then
nothing.
That's just press, you know.
Yeah. So it's something that keep the fans hungry and little kids happy, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, to sell the franchise.
Yeah. But yeah, so
excuse me.
I think looking back on it, they were both heading in this direction, which was a matter of.
And there's always, Ryan Reynolds, Green Lantern.
All right. Maybe it's all
I'm one of the few that actually enjoyed that movie. Like I was excited about where they could take it because it opened the door to a lot.
It did open. I'll give you. Yeah, it opened the door to a lot. But I think
they kicked the door down instead of being sprinkling oh, here's the introduction to Green Lantern.
They gave you everything all at once. They gave you Oa. They gave you a weird looking alien.
Who are these people? What is this fish thing?
Yep. If they, oh man, it's fine.
Yeah, another cloud monster.
Which you always need to stay away from those.
Yeah.
I told somebody, I had 20 people sitting around me in a circle, and I told them it took me about 45 minutes. Step by step of how I would have done a Green Lantern movie, and I hate Green Lantern. And at the end of it, they were just like, and I was like, yes, but they won't let me do it, so it's fine. But
maybe you should pitch that.
I mean, they're gonna.
Not right now.
Not
but
now.
I mean, we don't have an extra 45 minutes.
No, not now. I will not. But yeah.
But I would love to hear that.
So, but yeah, they are canceling shows.
Out, by the way. This is the DC one,
not the Marvel. But they're canceling everything left and right. Movies are getting thrown to the scrapper. Batgirl was the match that lit this powder keg.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody was kind of behind it. I was excited with the direction and his vigor and verve for seeing the resurgence of the DCEU. He was like, hey, Superman is the cornerstone.
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, there's obviously the big three, right?
The Trinity.
The holy trinity of DC Comics. But, I mean, Aquaman had a sequel before Superman.
Yeah. They
Wonder Woman had a sequel before Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, she's part of the Trinity, but still, Henry Cavill's Superman, and he's been in the wings, ready and willing from day one.
Yep.
That movie came out way before the Wonder Woman movie. So I mean, there's really no need for there not to be a sequel.
DC.
And the one of the things they did to try to, before David Zaslav, before Discovery took over, one of the things they did to try to reinvigorate the DCEU was to bring in
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams, thank you. I just forgot his name. I saw his face. To kind of almost be a
figurehead.
Yeah, I mean, the idea at first, I think what we were hoping is that he would be kind of like the Kevin Feige, but not much has really come out of that, and that's been going on. There's reportedly a Satana movie and a Superman, either a reboot, unconnected to everything, and that just neither one of those just makes sense for bringing him in.
Because I think
for what we were hoping he would do.
He's also it's been reported that he's going to be supposed to be producing a Constantine show that's going to be on HBO Max. So if the Zatanna movie goes through and a Constantine show happens on HBO Max, so those two meet up. I'll love it.
Black Adam is laying the groundwork for.
And there's a lot of magic happening. So the Justice League Dark, I feel, is a couple, 3 more, 4 or 5, depends on when the show comes out, years away. But we could get, a Magic DC, a DC Dark, whatever the hell Joker's doing, and
with Lady Gaga speaking in French or something.
All right. So many people had to say yes for that to happen, Dylan.
I'm saying, like,
so many people have to say yes.
The pitch for that must be just like phenomenal.
Somebody must have been crying at the end, like, you have to make this movie now.
I want to know, like, why, like, who did he impress?
Like,
and for David Zaslav to go in also, and be like,
and not can this movie,
and be like, okay, go ahead. Because so the J.J. Abrams thing is kind of panning out-ish. Not really. It hasn't really contributed to the success of the DCEU in any way as of now.
But it I think it has, but not in like a major way. It'll pay off later for sure, but it definitely showed that these heroes with all these other stories can exist within this world and still be these very unique in their bubble, but not in their bubble things. Peacemaker did it, and old girl was like, "Oh, we need to call the Justice League. We need to send them here now."
Peacemaker did connect it, though.
Yeah, and no one thought we were going to see the Justice League, and then lightning, man flies down, dude.
I mean, Shazam connected it too.
Henry Cavill,
like Shazam. I mean, arguably Shazam is like the best part of the DCEU right now, as far as like connectivity and moving forward.
Yeah, because it's constant success. I mean, it hasn't let us down yet.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, from faltering between if Ben Affleck is or isn't going to play Batman, or is it going to have his own movie or direct or write or whatever, all that, like, the whole thing has just been uneasy, and I think it goes back to putting the cart before the horse, going, ooh, that Avengers movie looks awesome. Let's not introduce anybody and just do a Justice League movie.
But the thing is, part of my...
And halfway through, fire the guy.
Fire the guy who's putting it together.
Like, like, too many cooks in the kitchen.
Way too many.
Way too many cooks in the kitchen. Typical studio bullshit going, the numbers aren't panning out. People online are showing lack of confidence. Sorry, Zack Snyder. We're not going to let you finish your thing. However you feel about Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse or whatever, irrelevant. The point is, that ball was rolling, and they cut the legs out from under it mid-stride.
And it could have worked out. I still, just because...
A lot of metaphors there.
A lot of metaphors. I feel like the Justice League movie and then branching out into the solos could work, because most of everybody besides... Most folks, I say most. I talk to a lot of people who are nerds. Everybody knows, you say Batman, anybody knows what Batman is. You say Superman, anybody knows Superman is. You say Wonder Woman, most of everyone's gonna know who Wonder Woman is.
Yeah, I mean, they are in the lexicon. They're pop culture icons.
Yeah. Flash, I'm pretty sure folks have heard of the Flash.
I'm pretty sure about Flash, like the main Justice League folks are pretty solid.
And Aquaman's been the butt of everyone's jokes until Injustice, the video game. Because they made him broke it on purpose. Hate it.
When they made him long-haired and hook-handed, that's when everybody was like, well, Aquaman?
Aquaman? Abs? Aquaman?
Aquaman.
Aquaman. Okay.
That's probably the best thing they did for Aquaman, because the whole Super Friends Aquaman is lived in infamy since the 80s. Fun character, but cheesy. I mean, like, Batman had his cheesy phase, and they went dark and gritty, and I mean, that saved, whatever.
Yep.
But everybody still loves Adam West Batman.
Super do. Yep. So I feel like just the fact that you know who these characters are, and they could sprinkle in like a little bit of this, like a taste of origin, or whatever you want to call it, 5-10 minutes, everybody's, and then still have this overarching story, but still had made like Cyborg the main, which ended up being
so I mean, like, Cyborg being like the main character of, well, at least of the Snyderverse. Like, I don't, like, parents knew who Cyborg was because of Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go, but not as a gritty character that I mean, they wanted Teen Titans Go Cyborg, you know what I mean? And so I don't think people were aware of Cyborg on that level.
Yeah. And
then for him to be like, oh wait, he's part of the Justice League? I thought he was a Teen Titan. You know what I mean?
So, but then,
like, personally, I think they should have done the groundwork and just had, I mean, just shoot a movie, like, okay, have these movies shooting simultaneously, and like, you can force them out quickly, and you have one each year, and have a 5-year plan, and I mean, they're supposed to have a 10-year plan from day one, and then culminate with a Justice League movie, and you've got the beginnings of, I mean, you have their certain characters like Batman. You don't necessarily need that, but it would be nice to establish a new person as Batman in their own world and in their own right.
Or I'll give you.
Or 5. I mean, we've got 3 Batman men right now.
Because one thing, the DC, one thing.
2 Jokers. 3 Jokers.
3 Jokers. There are 3 Jokers.
Holy crap! Like,
do you not catch it? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you want to talk parallel universes, multiverse?
I mean, DC plays with multiverse all the time.
I mean, to be honest, like, in the comics, DC had the same problem with, like, just being so compartmentalized and just like, and that was the New 52 kind of set that up, right?
So it happened multiple times. The first time was Crisis, and then everything got reset, and it was on Earth Prime. Then the multiverse got recreated into 52 new Earths, and then after the 52 new Earths, everything was put into Rebirth, because after the Darkseid War, everything wasn't good. But then now, in Rebirth is where we are now in the Prime Age, and that's where, like, Doomsday Clock and all that good jazz happened.
Oh yeah, and Watchmen are now part of DC.
Yes. So we're here. Everybody's here. It's a lot of heroes exist within this, and DC's had this thing that Marvel hasn't had, and it's a very strong edge, and I don't know why they weren't playing to it.
I know,
right?
They
have all their stuff. Nobody else has. Yeah.
And I mean, DC's got such a different personality too. Like, they don't have to replicate Marvel. Why would they want to?
Yeah.
Like, they have their own thing. Like, I mean, Superman.
Yep. Oh, that's what I was about to say. So, like, with some of the other heroes, like, if Flash gets his solo movie, because Flash hasn't had a solo movie. Wonder Woman gets a solo movie, but hers are in the past, so that doesn't matter. Like we say, hers are the same. Right,
you have to kind of bring her in like they did with,
Cyborg gets his solo movie, but like, say in Cyborg, Batman's in there most of the time.
They needed to establish Cyborg as, like, transitioning or something,
But like these other big characters that you already know, like Superman, Batman, can show up in everybody else's stuff, and that still like has that connectivity as it builds to.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of potential with making Bruce the Nick Fury. Yeah. However, there was for me there was a lot of weirdness. It was like, okay, you're just going to show everybody that you're Batman without having known these people already. Like, that doesn't seem like Batman to me. Because he's super protective and super, you know what I mean? Super paranoid.
Yeah. He would not know who they are, but he wouldn't.
He wouldn't let them know who he is.
Unless he was desperate.
Right, but that could also play to the detective side of, and him just being a freaking genius.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense for Amanda Waller to know who he is because she's Amanda Waller.
Yeah, of course she knows.
So, yeah, it's those little nuances that could make it better. I understand that.
Yeah,
So, what was some of the shows that got, or shows and movies that have gotten canceled?
Okay,
Like you got the list.
Yeah. So, supposedly DC has a new 10-year plan, and from what I understand, they are completely committed to theatrical release for their movies. They are not doing the whole thing that HBO Max did last year with COVID, where they got in big trouble for releasing
Movies
Dune and Suicide Squad and a whole bunch of other ones day and date.
Yeah.
Right? Because of COVID and all that stuff. Like, huge trouble.
Yeah.
So he is sidestepping that entire thing, saying, hey, theaters, we are with you.
Yep.
We are not doing that. And that, I mean, technically that's a smart move.
Yeah.
However, in the process, he is also cutting any film that was intended for just an HBO Max release. There are certain properties like Blue Beetle that were intended for HBO Max, but now has been bumped to only theatrical release. Why they didn't do that with Batgirl, I don't know. He said he didn't believe in it, is the quote. Which is like Kevin Smith said, it's not a good look.
Yeah. Because it's...
Latinx character who...
got cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got that...
But I mean, to be fair, Blue Beetle did get promoted.
Yeah.
So
hey,
it's
that's
another
no quid pro quo here, though.
I'm just saying it's another Latino character, Latinx character that didn't get cut.
Didn't get cut, but I feel like they dumped because they've been making. They announced the Batgirl movie at this last.
They had most. That's the thing is like it's a lot further in production.
Yeah.
Than Blue Beetle.
They announced it at DC Fandom. I remember listening to it, and they're like, because they had her come on, like, hey, just so y'all know, we're making a Batgirl movie, and I'm gonna be Barbara. Mm-hmm. And since then, and that was last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they've.
To be honest, like when it was first announced, I was kind of like, why? At this point, I mean, you haven't really earned it. I mean, not saying the character hasn't earned her own stuff, but I'm just saying as far as like building the DCEU, this is more solo stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're like, at this point, it seemed they had almost but abandoned the connectivity.
Yeah.
Right? Outside of Flashpoint, and which was supposed to be a potential reset.
And Peacemaker.
And like, so there's like, they're playing both sides.
Yeah.
Right? And that, so it was confusing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I didn't want to see a Batgirl film, but the more that I saw of this and the excitement that they had for making this, really wanted to see it.
Yeah.
And still want to see it. I mean, it
just gives me Brendan Fraser as Firefly.
I'm saying, like, but there are other things that are being cut that are TV shows, and they're not movies intended. They're not TV. They're TV shows. They're not intended for theatrical release. So this is just like a culling to try to, like, trimming the fat. But at the same time, you're pissing off a lot of people. So like, is this something he's going to have to just kind of deal with? Obviously, I'm surprised they haven't made a statement or anything.
They won't probably. They probably won't
show strength or whatever.
That, or they're letting everybody be mad and then simmer down and be like, okay, now here's the things that we have coming for you as well. because to give the folks he wants to put these new shows, movies, or whatever together, so that they can then present it. Because if they try to present or say anything right now, everybody's just gonna rag on them. They're gonna get their socks, put the soap in it, start swinging it,
and it's only gonna add fuel to the fire. It's gonna keep it going because people want to be mad.
Yeah.
Just the drama. That's just how drama works. Yeah,
So.
that makes sense. But so at the same time, like, I kind of get where he's coming from. Like, and this is unpopular opinion, big time, because, like, if you're trying to bring it all in line and get things in order and say, okay, this is the direction we're going. Obviously, some things are not going to fit in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get that, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily have to go away completely.
Yeah.
They could just be shelved, saying, "Hey, we have a plan. We're going to revisit these things, but at the moment, we need to prioritize these things first."
Yeah.
But that's not how they said it.
Nope.
And like they need a really good marketing team. They need a publicist that is going to take this and phrase it correctly for them, because all they're doing is pissing people off right now.
Yeah, they are. It's because they've canceled. It's canceled. I don't want to say it's canceled, but they're giving a shortened season and a final season to the Flash TV show, which has been going very strong for the past.
Not the Flash. They need to be canceling.
For the past 9 years. They've put an end to Batwoman. They've put an end to Legends of Tomorrow. They've long put an end to Supergirl and Black Lightning. Arrow ended also a couple years back. So that...
And to be fair, this has nothing to do with the Discovery takeover.
No. But
this is just Warner Brothers fumbling shit.
Yeah. And then along with those... But these came out, are like days after Batgirl was announced. Kevin Smith came out and said, I had an Adam Strange movie that I was working on. It's not happening anymore. There's a Wonder Twins movie that was in the works. It's not happening anymore. There was another
Supergirl movie canceled.
Supergirl, yep.
Green Lantern Corps apparently canceled.
That's fine.
I was kind of excited about that show.
If I wanted to see garbage on my TV screen,
throw garbage on.
I would just throw garbage.
We
on
get
TV.
it, Quinn. I think Green Lantern has a lot of potential. I like space stuff. I like the sci-fi side of things.
I understand. Green Lanterns have potential because the other lanterns are better, and that's where Green Lanterns shine when the other lanterns are
you
there.
could go towards the whole Blackest Night saga.
Ooh, they don't need to do that. I'm just saying because that gets dark with a capital D.
Which is that's DC.
That's DC, but dang.
Like, I mean, DC could have owned the PG-13/R before Marvel even thought about doing it. They could have
That's
owned
the other
it.
thing.
They could have owned it.
Yeah, but that's also the other thing.
Well, and with HBO Max, like, they have the venues.
Dark, like DC movies, the Snyder Cut was rated R, and it didn't.
For what rate? Yeah.
Yeah, they said fuck a few times. There's a lot of more gore.
Oh yeah, this is
Sorry.
our PG-13. That's your one F bomb.
That's my one. All right. They said that a few times, and
this isn't the Westworld one. But anyways.
And they had more gore, but they can do. Peacemaker was TVMA. So many.
Peacemaker, like, just let James Gunn take over. I mean,
Suicide Squad was rated R.
Yeah. Like, there needs to be a guiding hand. Who is the Kevin Feige? Who is the head? Like, when they canceled Batgirl, the head of DC almost quit over it. Almost walked out over it.
Boy.
But I don't even know the dude's name. I cannot remember the guy's name.
It's not Jim Lee?
No. Jim Lee should.
Yeah.
But I cannot remember the guy's name.
It's one of his friends because they were like both. I remember seeing them on an interview, and they were both there.
And it does take some time because even Marvel had some infighting and things until things got in line, and now Feige is basically the godfather of everything.
Yeah.
But so I mean, there needs to be a czar over the film stuff.
It does. You have to have somebody kind of seeing and making sure it's fun. Be creative. Be a director. Show your vision of this thing.
And DC can really really hit below the belt where Marvel is taking criticism and really do well with that.
Yep. Like the Man of Steel movies, even Batman versus Superman. If it was like just a hint more on the dark side of things, just a hint. I mean, Man of Steel even still showed a Superman.
Minus Doomsday.
Okay.
The Martha and all that bullshit.
Martha was. I will agree with the Martha.
There's a way to do Doomsday. Like, it shouldn't have just been thrown in there.
It should have not been Zod recreated from. Yeah. Because Doomsday.
They bastardized Man of Steel.
Because it could have. Man of Steel. Let's keep
going.
going.
There's a whole lot of mishandling of characters.
And the new CEO has said that. He said it's.
Yeah.
He feels
so
like
I mean,
been mishandled.
I'm excited to see like long term where this is headed and what the plan is and all this stuff, but there are certain things like this. I mean, like Batgirl was already being made.
Could have almost been done.
Yeah, you could just say, hey, okay, whatever's in production, we're gonna finish that,
release it,
and then we're moving forward. Like, for example, this what is this? Gotham City Sirens and Black Canary spinoffs that are still in the writing phase. You know what I mean? Like, there's not boots on the ground for this. You know what I mean? They're not in production. They're in pre-production.
Yep.
So I mean, like, that kind of thing should be shelved until they can pull things more in line and determine what direction they want to go with those things.
If the folks who weren't involved with them, the actors and actresses, I think they probably would have. I mean, Batgirl, had Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. Like, what's going on?
Which would easily fit into a reboot. Rebooting of the DCEU.
Yeah. And they could have then thrown into the TV show it's fine. I'm trying not to get too far into it.
I mean, Michael Keaton is also appearing in the Flashpoint movie, which that's a whole nother thing. So, like, just to kind of touch on that real quick, there's 3 options they're looking at is what's being publicized right now.
Wait.
Oh, are you getting there?
Yeah, we're getting.
Okay. I don't want to steal your thunder.
It's okay. I forgot what I was about to say. Where were we? The actresses and actors who were involved in those shows, the only reason that I feel like they're still pushing them. Margot Robbie has heat. Like you say, Margot? Yeah. So, and everything else, and they're not going to cancel Aquaman. They've just announced that Ben Affleck's going to be coming back for Aquaman. Shazam's not getting canceled because Golden Child. Because of
a certain female actress that kind of shit all over the movie.
Wait. She who will not be named.
No pun intended.
Yes. Dang, Dylan. Okay, all right. And then we have Black Adam, which seems to be like the spearhead right now.
Like, I mean, freaking fall in line. That's all I gotta say is, like.
And then you have.
I mean,
that one.
Everything under the Black Adam direction. Everything can come into line behind that, and it would work.
It would work.
Like, you've got, like you said, spearhead. Like, I mean, you've already got Henry Cavill saying he wants to come back, already talking to The Rock, and The Rock is like, yeah, let's do it, let's fight, let's do this. Like, it's taking care of itself for you, and you just like
All you have to do is point a camera at it.
exactly. So I mean, I don't know. Everybody can see it, but Warner Brothers apparently.
Like introducing. So with Black Adam alone, introducing just Hawkman and Dr. Fate, you have two characters that have so much history to other characters. It's easy to just draw everything in.
Mm-hmm.
Hawkman, Vandal Savage can come in. That's a whole
But I
problem
mean,
by itself.
also like redo the Justice League.
Redo the Justice League.
I mean, there's a lot of love for the Justice League Unlimited.
Yep. Like Fate, the helmet. It's someone said, "Hey, huh? Hi,
Castabaris.
welcome to the show." Fate, him, Nabu.
I thought you said Meowboo.
No, the helmet's spirit, Narabu. I think it's Narabu.
I'm drawing a blank. Yeah.
It's
You want me to look it
within-
up real quick?
Yeah, look it up.
Dr. Fate.
I feel like it's Narabu. He is a child of Vandal Savage and a metahuman. So there are ways to introduce all of these great things. And with these 3 movies, I feel like Aquaman's gonna be a good movie. Not downing it in any way. It's we'll see what
I
happens.
think it was.
It's gonna be definitely, you have to watch it in theaters movie because never in my life have I seen so much CGI.
I didn't like the first one, to be honest with you. So
No. The first one,
I mean, I'm excited about them fleshing out Dr. Fate. Here we go.
you cannot knock the action sequences in the first one though. They were good, even though Narabu. There we go. Nabu.
Yeah, just straight up Nabu.
Yeah. So there's a lot of history in the Justice Society alone, besides the fact that they are the Justice Society. And Aquaman, if it kind of if it stays to the fact of it's a underwater action movie and stop trying to be, not saying it doesn't have to have a love story, but
Trying to be Jewel of the Nile and all these romancing the stone and stuff.
Because the action sequences in Aquaman were not bad. It's not
James Wan can do action.
Yeah.
He apparently cannot do romance.
Watch a rom-com. But yeah, because Black Manta was, you can't knock Black Manta. Black Manta was good, Dylan. What was wrong with
There were things that I did like about the film.
Yes. It has good qualities. It's just there were things that just weren't.
There was so much of it that was just cringy, though. It was just.
Yes. Well, I agree.
It was like when I saw it in the theater, I was like, but then later when I watched it at home with the kids, I was just like, it was hard to sit through.
Dang.
It was hard to sit through. It was difficult. I couldn't do it.
What was the cringiest thing besides Amber Heard and Jason Momoa?
Their entire interaction, like that whole storyline, just the whole mirror thing, like before I knew anything about the Amber Heard thing or whatever, just that whole romance, it was forced. The can't think of my words. The language, them talking.
Oh,
the dialogue was flat and forced and disgusting, and some of the plot points were forced and unnecessary. Like they should have just stuck with the core story of him, his father, and his brother and his mother, and
let that be the first movie.
Let that be the thing.
Yeah.
And that was a strong through line. But the whole I don't know, the whole trying to be an 80s rom-com, it just took me out of it. It was horrible. I did not like that.
Because it was awkward. Knowing all of not great chemistry between actors. Yeah, there was not, their chemistry wasn't there, and it was sad to see. But I mean, if it was like the whole movie was him trying to then figuring out like what really happened to his mother or anything like that, and then this Black Manta chasing him the rest of the time,
Yeah.
groovy gravy.
Yeah, and Black Manta. They should have been building Black Manta as a B villain.
As a B villain.
To become an A villain. Like establishing him along the way, but his brother being the main villain.
Yeah.
And Black Manta just being kind of like in the way, and you know what I mean?
He gets, like, every time they meet like 2 or 3 times in the movie, he gets better each interaction. The third one, he seems like a legitimate threat, but he still beats him, and then the final fight be Ori.
Yeah, but he's still got to deal with what's his brother, Ocean Master.
Yeah. Which
I think they could have done a lot more with Ocean Master. It just that
he ain't dead.
Yeah, but I mean, I was saying, like, the threat was just kind of like bland to me. It was like it's been done before. Like it just needed more oomph. Yeah.
I think if they made him just a smidge more, he seemed like he had that, like, that spoiled brat tendency to it, like, this is my birthright, I should be here, type of thing.
Yeah, he should have been more threatening though.
But if he was more sinister, I feel like it would have.
Yeah.
He could have, because I feel like his threat level was the same. But if he was just more sinister or conniving, I feel like it would have. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of fell flat for me.
So, okay, that's fair. But the fourth child of the movies that are coming out,
and that's saying a lot, because like I enjoy almost every Marvel movie. Like I want to see it succeed. I want to see it do well. I'm in it. Like I enjoyed the Green Lantern film.
Yeah.
Despite all its flaws, like I mean, for me to say this, like, it was hard to sit through. Like, it's a lot.
Yes. The fourth child of the 4 that are supposed to come out. The 3 options are the fourth child.
Fourth child?
Fourth child. The one that's the red one.
Oh, the red one.
The red one.
Okay. You're talking about the Justice League building up the...
Shazam? Oh, Shazam's also red. Shazam, Black Adam, Aquaman, the fourth child.
Flash, right?
Yep, that one. Because Ezra Miller... What are the 3 options?
Person.
Super,
Ezra,
yeah.
I'm not going to be... Okay. It's hard not to mock him and make fun of him. He's obviously got some mental health issues going on.
Yeah.
With a healthy side of narcissism. And that makes me hate him. That makes me want to make fun of him and belittle him and not care what happens to him, because and just be
Yeah.
But the dude needs help.
He does.
He's abusive and kidnapping folks, threatening old people.
Yeah.
Becoming a cult leader, like there's major red flags going on here with this guy, and they're still talking about releasing his movie. Like he needs to be erased from the equation.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I could honestly think is
like him from day one.
Yeah.
He's a great. Before all this craziness, like
he was
great actor.
He was a good actor, and
something a little still off about him, but
the Snyder Cut did another thing and showed
lots
that
of other actors as well.
The Snyder Cut did the other thing that it definitely showed that he could be like a Flash. I felt like he could be, if given the right chance, because they obviously gave him the Flashpoint movie.
To be fair, yeah, Ezra Miller is a very talented actor, and given the right situation, could pull it off.
Yes. But with everything that has come out, it's the only reason I could think that this movie would still possibly come out in any fashion is because it's already done and
lots of money.
Also lots of money. It's done. They've spent the money. They've filmed everything.
It is the crossroads to where the DCEU, if it's still a thing, is going.
It was supposed to be the reset that was going to give.
Especially with Michael Keaton also showing up in Batgirl.
Yep. So it has lots of things with connectivity. It has.
Now that I just thought about this, I wonder if the unstable ground of the Flash is why Batgirl
Got canceled. That's the possibility. Because it
seems to be connected in some way.
If Michael Keaton's in it, how would it have to be? Or it's a different Earth, because that's something that they introduced. They introduced it without introducing it. Because if you watch Crisis on Infinite Earth, you know the final episode, last 15-20 minutes, second and final episode, Flash is going through the Speed Force and he runs into another Flash, it being Ezra Miller, because they were both in there at the same time looking for something. I don't know what Ezra Miller was looking for, but might be revealed in the movie. Might be revealed in the movie, but oh man, if they had that once again, if they have that same scene. Not saying I'm forgiving Ezra Miller, but it's going to still be really cool.
I mean, they even back referenced the whole little thing in the Justice League movie. It was like, why does he look like that? Who is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So because he didn't have a name yet. Yeah, that was the whole. Yeah. So it has the potential. I think their best option, honestly, is just to release it quietly on HBO Max.
But they've swore that they're not going to do that anymore. So reportedly there are three options. One is can the movie, because it's unsalvageable because of Ezra Miller has spoiled the entire thing.
How much is this?
Option 2 is a soft release. To just release it and not promote it in any way, and just put it out there for the sake of connecting to other things and because it's already made. And the third one is have Ezra Miller go through public therapy and do very little controlled press and release it that way.
Public therapy, still yes, but no fanfare. And just release it. Mm-hmm. Because I still feel like too much of a loose cannon. Yeah. So
dude needs to be on some meds.
I don't think they're gonna do the first one, because you're trimming fat, but then that's $200 million in the hole that you're not getting back, and that's also if they have to eat that, that means something else is
less films like Batgirl coming.
So like something else is
that are not like prominent characters. I mean, Batgirl is pretty prominent, but she's not one of the main Justice League. She's not one of the Holy Trinity.
She's not a super popular character that can like stand. Not saying she's not. She's not a character that can like stand on that pedestal like adjacent to them, like looking across. That's like had a chance to prove themselves. Like. The only other one that is right now is Peacemaker. Like Peacemaker can still get more TV shows and other things, but Batgirl, besides being in the cartoons and things, and the movie in the '90s, we haven't seen her on the big screen or really any screen besides being a cartoon. So it's.
I mean the George Clooney movie.
Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone.
That was it. So she hasn't had enough proving ground behind her. If she so happens,
she's got a big fan base, but not enough
for them to move forward with it.
Yeah.
If they did
after this backlash, who knows?
Who knows? Straight to DVD. Hopefully not.
Yeah, just. I mean, like we said before, like I personally think the best route would be to, like, if it's already a production, they've already got cameras rolling, let it finish, do your release,
But I feel like they're trying to start everything by the end of, like, at the end of this year. That I feel like January 1st, 2023, they're going to hit the ground rolling because they got basically
They're putting the brakes on hard.
yeah, they got 4 or 5 months to flush the system, get everything out, do that whole you don't leave these blankets, you got to detox so that we can get going.
and that's another thing is like we're pissed because we didn't get what we wanted, but we're also not looking at the numbers. Like
Yeah.
they could be like big time in the red.
Yeah.
Over stuff like this too.
So, because not everything, I'll say it could be nice to see more of a less seen character.
Who tell me stories.
Yep. And that,
Oh, I agree.
most definitely. I'm pretty sure, keep using Peacemaker because he's the only one. Well, no, all the Suicide Squad, I'm pretty sure from the Suicide Squad, nobody really knew who they were. Besides Harley Quinn and
it's got to be done right.
yeah,
But to be, I mean, we're liking the idea of it, but from what is being said is that he saw the footage has been seen, and it wasn't that great.
Yeah,
It wasn't that great.
we just get so many remakes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
We do get a lot of remakes.
But you like when you're building, you still have to start with the foundation, and you've got to build from that.
I mean, they could build. I still believe the idea of starting with the biggest, like kind of how The Boys, in a sense, they didn't really give us any backstory of any of the 7 until later. But we knew that these guys were the guys. Homelander was Homelander. Queen Maeve was Queen Maeve. A-Train was A-Train.
Yeah.
All that.
But to be fair, that's a different format. It's a television format where you have, you've got 8 hours to 8 episodes to flesh that out.
That's when
Where
you
in
have
the movie
these,
format. You've got what, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, hour and a half. But that's where it focuses in on like the folks that haven't had the big movies before, and then you still have these other big
definitely bring those other characters in alongside.
Yeah.
And go out from there. But the problem that DC has had is that it hasn't taken the time to build the foundation. And so that when it got to a certain point, it crumbled because there wasn't a strong foundation.
I mean, yes.
They put the cart before the horse. And so they have to go back and do it right. Because, like, just like the saying, it's like, if you can't find time to do it right the first time, when are you going to find time to go back and do it right a second time? And that's what they're having to do right now. That's why they're having to make such drastic cuts, because it's not going the way that they hoped it would go.
Yeah.
And they've got to do something because Marvel is eating them alive.
Well,
in the film
realm, yes, but
there are also other people who say that they don't need to do the DCEU. They just need to keep doing these the Batman solo movie and the Joker solo movie and the Batgirl solo movie and all these other solo movies, and just let them be disconnected and unconnected and all this. Which is fine too, if that's what you want. But they want that cinematic taste. They want that connectivity.
I mean, they want it because they've gotten it on the other side of it. They've seen what it could do, but even still, like with Marvel back in the day, back when they first started, they were using a lot of B characters because they didn't have Spider-Man, they didn't have the X-Men, they didn't have the Fantastic Four, so they had to see what they had and what they could work with.
I mean, Phase 1, they took 5 years to build Phase 1. You know what I mean?
But
or
Did this
3 or 4
Batman-
years, whatever.
Did this Batman have like the Batman origin in the beginning? Okay.
No, Batman just came in.
Yeah.
Like, part of Justice League.
So I mean, you can do that because Spider-Man did the same thing. We didn't get seeing Uncle Ben
Yeah,
die.
yeah. Well,
So-
yeah, because we've seen that so many times. So that makes sense.
And I mean, that's why I'm kind of like getting at. Like, say, well, I don't know, let's use any, meeny,
Yeah,
miny, mo.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Presidents has been made. A new bar is set.
Yeah.
So yeah, they kind of have to catch up to what's expected now.
I guess. I'd always look at them separate because I can never compare DC to Marvel because I've always thought DC was just better than Marvel. But it's also the two different sides of how they tell stories. Marvel tells stories of men, humans trying to do
When was the
spectacular
last time
things.
DC put out a $2 billion movie?
No, but never because
That's what
those
Marvel's consistently, with their key characters, putting out $1 billion movies.
DC's got to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah. That they've got to build to the point where they can put out $1 billion movies, and they have so many rich characters, like they could do that, but they've got to build the groundwork.
Well, do they have to put out $2 billion movies? Like, honestly, do they? I mean,
Do they want to? Yes, because that's the return. You know what I mean?
$2 billion. Yeah.
Who doesn't want that kind of return on their investment, especially when you've got shareholders, and that's why Warner Brothers has rushed things, because they're trying to get to that point, but they didn't take the time to build that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I get building to like this super.
They put up a straw house, and it's no surprise that it hasn't held together.
But it didn't have. So
And
for the longest time.
It's personally, it's sad because these characters are awesome characters and they deserve that.
But even for the longest time, they didn't.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. The content is there, but
They can't execute.
Yeah, the directors execute it. I believe they can, and you know, like we said, DC could really excel at by not necessarily taking jabs, but filling in the gaps where Marvel is that formulaic, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know.
And that's. Oh, I guess it's just because it is a bias. Is no matter what the Marvel movie is, I will always give like a DC movie a chance, unless you're Green Lantern. It's because of the way that they can tell the stories and the way they have told the stories. Like still the the previous animated cinematic universe they had was the best. One of the best versions of storytelling I've seen over a course of like 12 movies.
Yeah, and mostly connected. Not all connected.
Not all connected, but everything ended up being within the same universe. Because, not every story has to be like this overly branching thing. Yeah, it can have consequences later down the line, but not every story did. But then once it got to the point where it was a Superman Doomsday, basically, and you had this story that was about Superman, but you had all these other heroes that were literally getting mollywopped by Doomsday, and Superman had to make the choice. And that is essentially it was a
I mean, and that's what they want, is to be able to do the comics on TV or in the films, so that they can do that. They can have these big event pictures and bring in other people, and it actually hit home with people because they know those characters, you know.
But I mean, and on the other side of it, on Marvel's side, now they're to the point with Phase 4. Hopefully, it fixes itself. But Phase 4, they were giving folks so much free reign. It seemed like that these movies weren't folks went there because this foundation and expectation was set, and then they got kind of a
felt disconnected,
little water flung in their face because they were like, no, this is what you expect, but it's not what you expect. And so there's, I guess, a good and a bad to it, but DC just hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's with anything, especially in the public realm, where if you establish a brand, and you have to be faithful to that brand. If you want to go a different route, you have to take the time to turn the ship, and make it make sense to your audience, because you can't just come in from left field unless that's your brand. And people be on board with it because they are your audience. They are the one purchasing your product. You know what I mean? You have to respect your audience, because if you come in out of left field, and then you can't get mad that your audience. I mean, just as food items, okay? Let's say you're a mac and cheese person or mac and cheese company, right? You can't come in and suddenly be a Pepsi company, be a soft drink company, and get mad that your audience doesn't want soft drinks. Because why would they want soft drinks? They're buying from you because they want mac and cheese. You know what I mean? That is marketing 101. You know what I mean? That's like, you have to stay in your lane. If you want to become a soft drink company, then you gradually get your audience used to it, and then you sell it with your mac and cheese so that they make the connection. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you have to work with the psychology of your audience. And that's why Marvel was getting that kickback, because everything's disconnected. They spent 10 years building that psychology of their audience, and then when they went against the grain, it's like, well, you this is what you wanted, right? Why are you upset? You know what I mean? This is what you have built.
So,
and DC's the same way. You know, it's like, if they want that Marvel money, then they have to build their own. They have to build their own brand, and right now their brand is it feels disconnected. Nobody really knows what it is. There's not a whole lot of stability in it.
Well, I think they were banking off of way back when. Is it almost 10 years? It's been almost 10 years, but like way back when had Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, those movies that were supposed to be the start of the DCEU, they were banking off of the recognition value of these characters. Mm-hmm. And then from there it got muddied, because like I said, there were too many cooks in the kitchen. So then you had three folks switching out on this Justice League film that ended up being.
And of course, there were also some big swings and misses with the whole Martha thing. Yeah. Changing Zod into Doomsday. There were. It was like people didn't understand the brand. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Didn't understand what they were seeing. But I mean, I feel like the folks that were going to see, because I didn't know too many folks that were like casually going to see those movies. Marvel was able to draw in casual folks by making everything more digestible. Mm-hmm. But everybody that I knew that saw, not necessarily Man of Steel.
A lot of people saw like Batman vs Superman, because Batman and Superman are hugely popular characters.
Yeah, in the same movie. Mm-hmm. In that one in particular, like I said, most of the folks that I had talked to, they loved it if they didn't know enough, but if they knew, they had issues with it.
Yeah, because as brilliant as Zack Snyder is as a creator and a storyteller and a director and all these things, he basically said, F those people, I do what I want. And that that is a step in the. You never say F those people to the people who are purchasing your product. Yeah. That is dumb. Like, why would you do that? They sign your paycheck.
Yes.
And he forgot that.
He did. Yeah, he did a bit. But no, I feel like if it was like if who did the Batman movies? The Christian Bale Batman movies. Christopher Nolan. I feel like if Christopher Nolan then did a Superman movie and then did Batman versus Superman,
there were talks of him doing a Superman movie.
Yeah.
And Bale said the only way he would come back to Batman is if it was Nolan directed.
Yeah. But if like they kept going in that direction, like it probably would have turned out fine. Just using just those two characters alone. Mm-hmm. Like saying, Batman, the Dark Knight trilogy, that ended, Bruce Wayne is gone, Superman shows up.
That tone is established.
And then him, and then it's Superman movie, and then Batman vs. Superman, and then still had Justice League after. And then everything branched out from there because it would explode. I feel like everything would have worked out fine. But I feel like Zack Snyder was wanting to do that, but like Batman tone with Superman, and then took it over into the Batman vs. Superman, but like I said, with the hit and misses, then everything gets turned to more misses than hits.
Yeah, it got really dark. Like there was a lot of pushback with Man of Steel because it was so dark, and the tonality of it was like, it was a good film. Mm-hmm. It was a good film, but at the same time, they tried to make Superman into Batman, like make him dark and gritty, and it's like that's not Superman's brand.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, yes, you can do certain stories with Superman that are that, but like, I mean, there was such a pushback that people online literally recolorized the film to make it look like a Superman, and it felt more Superman-y. You know what I mean?
Like, I feel like
that's one of the things. Keep referencing Marvel, but I mean, as many things as Marvel has remixed with their characters, what they've been successful with is keeping the essence of that character the same.
For the most part.
For the most part. They've had some swings and misses, for sure.
They've had some hard misses. And it's harder for them when they miss because you have the expectation that they don't miss. And then when they do miss, it's like, all right, I think you're developing a problem. Mm-hmm. And then it's sustained by the other films.
And so it's like this interwoven thing that if you have a miss, it's not that big a deal because you can come back and fix it. You know what I mean?
Screaming goats. So apparently a lot more people than I thought hate those goats. I thought it was just you. Everybody hated those goats.
Yeah, it was annoying.
So, but yeah. Oh,
that's the wrong one. My bad.
Close enough.
That's what I was trying to do.
So they got, but they got.
I made it. That was a big mess.
They got films in the chamber. They got shows in the chamber. I'm pretty sure.
So let me just go ahead and read through this list of what I know of. So Shazam 2 is locked and loaded. Black Adam's locked and loaded. Aquaman 2 is locked and loaded. The Batman 2 seems like an obvious one, but the sequel has not been greenlit yet.
Yeah.
Blue Beetle is locked and loaded, but it's bumped
happening.
up to theatrical release, so it's coming. The Joker 2 has a teaser out, and still nobody under. There's like these dancing silhouettes. It's like a teaser, just like an announcement that it's coming. Remember when the first Joker movie was coming out, and everybody was like, what is this gonna be? Like it was kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was that one moment that it was like 3 seconds of Joaquin Phoenix like having like just like a twitch of the face. And it like set the tone. In my mind, when I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. I can see I could see that because Joaquin Phoenix is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like in those 3 seconds, that little eye twitch like said it all for me. And it's like, okay, this is a mentally unstable person.
Yes.
And that did it. Like I was sold. Just in the tonality of it and everything. It made sense. This is like some dancing silhouettes and the announcement that it's coming. I still haven't watched it because I'm still... Maybe I need to watch it so I understand, but apparently a lot of other people still don't understand it. Lady Gaga coming in as Harley Quinn, and it's going to be a musical, which seems to be like out of left field.
Maybe. It would be very funny. I don't think they would do it, but it would be very funny if it's a musical because of Music Meister, but I don't think they will.
I mean, maybe it's all happening in his head. I don't know.
Yeah.
To go from Scorsese to a musical, like, I don't know, it just seems like a big reach.
Or, yeah, once you said he could be, I mean, he's going to be an unreliable narrator. This entire film, it would be wonderful if they did. Like you said, in his head, him and Harley, and like you finally zoom, like last scene, zoom out, he's bloodied. You see in the back, like Harley over there trying to crawl to him, and the last scene is just a fist, a black glove coming down on his face. That's it.
Yeah, because the last few scenes of the movie allude to being in his head.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see something like that happening where it's like we're just continuing the fantasy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean, sometimes the most weird, quirky things are the best. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this could turn out to be like a classic.
Yep.
But
win them both an Oscar.
Potentially.
So
who knows?
They're the only.
Everybody was kind of hoping that it would tie into the Batman film, which does not in any way.
Does not.
Whole new Joker in the Batman film.
Yep.
So disconnected.
It could still have a Batman, because we.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce is there. He met
Yeah.
Child Bruce. The ages don't add up. But this is a different timeline. It's a different universe. It's a different thing entirely.
There's 3 of them running around. It's fine.
Right. So the Black Canary spinoff, big question mark. Probably Gotham City Sirens, which is like a Harley Quinn spinoff. Or
Birds of the
yeah,
Prey,
like
yeah.
it's a sequel.
Yeah.
But Birds of Prey. Supergirl, Black Hawks, which is like an old obscure comic, which is being directed by Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
It's like World War II stuff.
It's gonna be a super.
Inglourious Bastards in the DC universe.
Literally. I mean, they ran to Wonder Woman like once, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because DC loves their World War II stuff.
Our Man.
Yay!
Big question mark.
I kind of hope. I'm hoping.
Another deep cut. Static Shock. Please don't take Static Shock. Like,
I mean, if they do, there will be riots.
Zatanna, which was another J.J. Abrams property. Big question mark. Superman, is it going to be a reboot or Henry Cavill sequel? Because of the new direction, Henry Cavill has made it very plain that he wants to come back. He's been wanting to come back, and that was one of the arguments when David, I forgot his last name, Zasloff or something like that, took over. Was that why doesn't Superman have a sequel? Why are we sitting on this? Why are we not using this? Like, we've got these things, and we're just sitting on this money.
Yep.
So is it going to be a reboot, sequel? Who knows? It was originally supposed to be a reboot, unconnected, like basically like the Batman, just another spinoff, or not spinoff, but another sequel, completely disconnected with a whole different direction. Wonder Woman 3, of course, it's in the chamber. It's coming. Green Lantern Corps, back on. Doom Patrol better not get touched.
I mean, it's doing fine, but I'm hoping
It's
not
doing
to.
good. Like, that's another one. It's like it fits into the wacky Suicide Squad realm. Like, it's doing
It's
well.
there.
Like, they're
It's
yeah.
fine. It's yeah.
Let it do its thing. Don't take this away from Brendan Fraser too.
Please don't. Let's keep Brendan Fraser on TV or screens, wherever. We just want
Let
Brendan
him play
Fraser.
as many DC characters as he wants to play.
Yeah, like Polka Dot Man. The guy who plays Polka Dot Man, who's been in like every movie.
Really?
Yeah.
David. I think his name's David too. I can't think of his last name. Who was also in Ant-Man.
He has something on somebody, I'm sure.
He's coming up, man.
So,
He's paid his dues. It's his time.
I hope Wonder Woman does not do what the last one did.
What?
The last Wonder Woman was a fine watch, but it was, I think there's like trying to focus too much on she has to stay hidden the entire time, so they're making her, so this story was smaller than.
Oh, they're trying to do the whole Dave Filoni thing with Star Wars. It's like she lives in the in-betweens.
Yeah, and now like, I don't remember how that happened. I guess it was some woman, but I don't know who she was. World War One makes sense because everybody's dead.
Let
And,
Steve
yeah.
Trevor stay dead.
But
they don't need Steve Trevor.
They don't need Steve Trevor. It kind of all. The love story was better, yes, but it fell to
It's weird.
Aquaman.
Like, because this dude that is just being possessed by Steve Trevor is
yeah.
she's totally cool with it.
Or they could have gotten like deeper into more Amazonian things and the gods.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
yeah.
the whole '80s bit was fun.
Mhm.
I mean, Kristen Wiig was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Steve Trevor thing was weird, and having it, the in-between hidden thing, is kind of weird.
Because I mean, like, how far is this next jump gonna be? Is it gonna be like after? Or, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like they're just like, okay, we're holding her at bay. We're keeping these big characters at bay, hoping to see where the DCEU is going to pan out,
Yeah.
and then doing something with it, and just kind of reminding us that they're there by doing sequels.
Yeah. And it's not like DC doesn't have a log of new characters, not new characters, of good characters. There are
And good stories.
and good stories, like Our Man being one of them. He was the former leader of the Justice Society of America. Like, his whole deal, that's why it's called Our Man, because he has a little pill, pops it, for an hour, he could probably go toe-to-toe with Superman. In Crisis, what was that?
Hey, thanks,
Oh,
Shin.
thanks, Shay. In Crisis, when like everybody was going to stop Darkseid's folks from like using the anti-life equation and stopping Darkseid from using the anti-life equation, he was like, "All right, fools, my neck's not cracking. Y'all go ahead and go." That. And he popped the pill and he fought Darkseid for an hour, pushed himself to the limit to where he like popped another one so he could go past an hour and died. But he held Darkseid off just long enough for everybody to like get their stuff. So he's a good character. It's just he's also from the Golden Age.
And there's also the Stargirl show with Luke Wilson.
I forgot about that show.
Yeah, which I've watched a few episodes. It's pretty good.
It's good, yeah.
It's fun.
It is.
I mean, that's JSA as well, right?
Yep. So they have a lot of stuff that they can use, and they know how to use it because it's not like they don't have
Right.
writers.
They've got all of their own properties. They own them all.
Yep.
And they're
You could just be like, "Hey, Jim Lee, do us a favor. Watch over this little bit."
saying.
So
Jim Lee's an illustrator, though, right?
He's over all the comics now.
Okay.
I thought he was over all of DC, but I know he's over all the comics.
Okay.
But yeah, so
DC. Yeah, so they've established a DC Studios branch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Who is over DC Studios? Who's the head of DC Studios? Walter Hamada. Current president of DC Films. He's the one that almost walked.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but they're establishing DC Studios that will take the DC film franchise into the next 10 years and beyond.
See how it goes.
So DC has officially become a movie studio, and that's why they're trimming the fat, and they're
making a tower of trimmed fat.
Yeah, and a tower of pissed off fans.
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything else. You have anything else?
No, that's it. I think we've talked about everything. Surely there's other things that we're not thinking of, but I mean. There are two sides of it right now. I think it's a limbo. It's a wait and see. But at the same, I understand both sides. Like I still want to see the Batgirl movie too. Yeah. I still want to see all these things happen because I love comics and I want to see them on the screen. And I definitely want to see something that is different than Marvel. As much as I love Marvel, like DC has a whole different feel and tone and stories and characters that
Batman penis.
Please God no. Bat. I'm not gonna try to come up with something. Trying to keep PG-13. But yeah, I mean like that whole thing.
Yeah. So yeah. Besides opinions and however it may play out with them, I still want to see the Flash movie. Because it
just
yeah.
Make a scene where he goes like he's in the speed yeah, he's in the speed I almost said
speed force.
He's in the Speed Force and there's a transition and it becomes Grant
Gustin.
Yeah. And he just is the Flash in the MCU, excuse me, in the film films. From there on out.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, all that's been filmed. I hate to say it, but Henry Cavill CGI that shit.
Get the dude who deep faked Luke's face in The Mandalorian to come over and be like, yeah, and deep fake that, yeah. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, if they
Photoshop,
if they
out of every scene,
if they
and have Grant Gustin
redo the last scene to where it's like the same scene that was in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and they meet, and then like whoa, and then they then part, and Ezra Miller's going back, but he runs into somebody else. Doesn't have to be Grant Gustin, but it's Wally West. And Wally West is in the Flash until whatever happens. And they're not even saying bring Ezra Miller back. But Flashpoint happens, he fixes it, second Flashpoint to reset the timeline to where it was happens, but he didn't make it back out the Speed Force. Wally did, and now Wally is the Flash that everybody remembers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because
I mean, there are ways around it. Because comics.
Those comics. Just don't make it. Yeah, that's fine. Just don't do the twins. I don't.
Yeah, I really wanted to see the Wonder Twins. Like in the vein of like Doom Patrol, Wonder Twins would be great.
Yeah.
It's that tongue-in-cheek, silly comedy stuff.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yeah. That's all I got. I think we're just rambling at this point. I don't know why I'm going there, but yeah, so thanks for joining us. We hope that you will join us live on YouTube and everything every Thursday night, Central Standard Time, 9:30-ish. And so thank you for joining us. Please like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so that you know when we drop new videos, when we go live, and all that fun stuff. And don't forget to check out the website at www.broken.pictures.com. And I'm Dylan.
Try not to burp in the mic. I'm Quinn.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye. We're not doing a southern goodbye. We're saying goodbye now.
Oh. Peace. Bye.